Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Bozmos2, where we are playing Chaco. It is turn 43. Let's jump into things. Alright, so right off the bat, we have received 18 death gems from Krieg. I forgot to talk about this in the last turn. We did a one-to-one trade with Krieg, sent them some fire gems, got some death gems. We're going to send our Death 1 mage back to the capital and start doing some dark knowledge. 18, basically I'm hoping, I'm all but sure I'm gonna get one out of the one death site that we know about, and then I'm hoping, so that's gonna put us at like 15, and then I'm hoping over the course of the next 5 to 6 casts, right, because really if we find one at that site, we're gonna be able to regenerate enough for an additional cast by the time we get to the 6th cast. So I'm hoping we're gonna find another 1 or 2 past or with those 6 casts, and then basically facilitate our ability to just continue to cast throughout our entire area. We'll probably not succeed that with the 55 on gems, but we'll see. We'll try. We have completed Conjuration 4. Very cool. This gets us a couple of different things. On our way to Thaumaturgy 4. Humpty Dumpty has gained the Throne of Sorcery. We'll take a look at that here in just a second. A dire portent has gone up. Bubbles, Guardian of the Dead, has acquired a kindling of the fire that fell from the sun. What? This is Eternal Pyre again. Taken by, I believe, Old Relay. I think it's Old Relay. It's Lucid, I believe, is playing Old Relay, and I believe that's who took it. But we'll double check that here in a second. Proclamation from Old Man Egbert. Proclamation from New Relay. Profit of Bubbles number. I swear to God, I'm just seeing like everyone's just making profits of bubbles. Fucking bubbles. Shit. Speaking of profits, we can make a profit this turn. I think we're not actually making a profit this turn, but we'll talk about that more momentarily. We have a proclamation from Alcara. Got a new prophet. We got a couple of battles. So we've got a battle in Pestena, where we have attacked onto Old Man's Fort. And this is basically nothing, right? This is going to be a bunch of whatever PD. Go through our buff cycles, easy peasy. And yep. Chop. That guy has the quickness boots on, so he kind of does what he wants. Oh, nice. Okay. Cool. Sweet. Battle good. Alright, anyways, so we win there. We also attack in Pack Woods. This is just a ping, trying to reassess what all is going on here. And, yeah, our memory was pretty much correct, right? We've got a bunch of Spring Hawks, so we have to worry about lightning damage stunning us there. We've got Vine Ogres, not really a big deal. Militia, not really a big deal. Heavy Infantry, not really a big deal. Enkidu Soldiers, not super big deal. Enkidu Archers, same. Living Statues, same. Regular Archers, same. The only, things that are real potential issues are the Spring Hawks, unless we have an answer for them. And we shoot there. But there is this boy, Mr. Hill Giant, who hits for 42, but also has a... Oh, wait, that can't be used on us. We're good. So 42, that hits pretty hard. So once or twice with that, and we would be dead. Fortunately, though, it's low length, and I think we can, because it's natural length is 2, I think we could probably just repel this guy for eternity, because he doesn't have very high attack skill. And then there is the Ishtar, the Anunnaki of the Morning Star. has a whole bunch of gems and could fuck us up with some astral magic, could like enslave us. That would be horrible. And an Umuapkalu who can basically do the same. So, that is sketchy. We witnessed a battle between Phasia and Lemuria. Phasia attacking into little fort of Lemuria's. What's Phasia up to? Got some communions going. Yeah, the Colossi Weavers. Dope. Lightning bolts. Only lightning bolts, really? Well, I guess, no, it makes sense. It's not only lightning bolts. Well, yeah, it kind of is only lightning bolts. Phasia has very high research, I believe, so I would assume if they wanted to be casting more than lightning bolts, they could very easily be casting more. Sounds good. Alright, that's a easy enough win for Phasia there, and then there is a battle between Atlantis and Ind on Ind. A little ping from Atlantis, a scout coming in to see what's going on, and this is basically all that remains of Ind. So Ind is like to fall shortly. He does have fucking Baphomet, but I don't think that's gonna matter. Looks like he's using his gems to, you know, summon things as he can. He's got a couple of Abbot Sages here, a couple of Maguses. So, yeah. Looks like he's got enough chaff to run forward and kind of like hold things until he, I don't know, he has to be careful until his soldier priests get up there. And we've seen, right, like if he can get them buffed, you know, protection 21, that's pretty good. And if he can let his communion go, that communion can do a pretty decent job. But I think he probably dies to what Atlantis has there. Probably next turn. Got a couple of events. Minus population in Northia because of the plague. Lost tax in Assad. Minus population in Unrest in Scraw Point. I swear to God, I'm never playing Misfortune again. I said that last time, though. Kingdom of Dara has Sloth now. Oof. And Dominion changed in Dardania. Worldwide event has occurred. +1 magic across the world. Nice, I'll take it. Construction of wooden fort in Temiglia is completed. And the fortification in Pistena is unarmed, of course. Okay. Well, that's a lot of red arrows, you might say there. Double check. I'm in the midst of like negotiations as we speak on different things. So, all right. This turn, I'm recording this live, so this turn may or may not look drastically different than what actually what you see here might look drastically different than what happens next turn. That is because Kangobia, where are you going? Where are you going, buddy? He is not on Old Man anymore. He has moved off of Old Man, and he's moved towards Pistena. And also sent me I'm not gonna... When I got it this morning, I was like, oh, well, that's a rather aggressive message. Honestly, it's not any more aggressive a message than, you know, anything else. It's basically saying, hey, shove off, right? Like, don't vulture me. That's bullshit. Which, why, yes, you are correct. That is absolutely... That is 100%. That is bullshit. Yes. I need to do this real quick before I forget. Maintain siege. So, Kangobia, which I believe is played by Boz, the mod creator and host of the game, has basically like said, hey, look, you know, not cool, fuck off. or, you know, there's the implied or else, of course, right? And obviously, right, like, my implication is hey, I'm trying to take this fort. I'm vulturing this fort from you. I make no illusions about it. I'll say what I want to say in, you know, Discord negotiations, but that's negotiations. And in a video, I'll be straight up and honest about it, right? Like, absolutely, this is me vulturing this fortification. So the thing that is the big, what might be a big difference between what you're seeing here in this video versus what actually happens on the next turn is all of this movement, or all of this movement, the majority of this movement is under the concept that we're going to war with Kangobia, that I'm not moving off this fort, and that me not moving off this fort is going to basically be a declaration of war, and that shit's gonna hit the fan real fucking quick. So, our prior so we're gonna review this whole video with that in mind, and then we'll talk a little bit at the end about, like, you know, maybe we do elsewise, right? So our entire plan previously was under the concept that Kangobia attacks Old Man this turn, and succeeds, and takes Old Man. That would mean that they would be here next turn, and we would be here on the following turn, right? So basically, we would make it to Pistena with our army before they did, is the concept. Unfortunately, because they moved off of Old Man, that is not going to be the case, and they absolutely can threaten us right here. Now, I've reached out and I've said, you know, hey, look, you know, this doesn't have to be. And again, don't take my negotiations with a grain of salt. It's me trying to get free land. I have said, hey, look, this doesn't have to be a fight. I could take Pistena and I could take Mulaton, and then with you in Iron Caves, we could basically jump on Niflheim down here in the Moon of Silent Stars and have an easy two-person war, or two-sided war over there, and do great things together, right? And of course, right, you know, like, no one's gonna, as they should, probably no one's gonna take that deal. It's not a bad deal, but it's also not a great deal, right? Like, oh yeah, sure, fine, whatever, you know. But trying to discuss my line of reasoning. I think if we fight Kangobia, we're probably gonna die. Kangobia has more land than us. I would assume probably more research than us. It is a better, from what I've seen, nation than Chaco. He's got a fucking shit ton of free spawn, etc. Some pretty crazy sacreds, etc. But that being said, I think I'm gonna go to war with him anyways. And you might be thinking, why? Why in God's name would you do that? Because we talked about this. I've talked about this a couple times throughout this video series, right? Like, especially towards the beginning. And I think it's funny to take Lucid's original, like, sales pitch about this game in mind, right? It's the concept of, like, do you want to hate yourself, right? I wanted to play in this game because I thought the map was really cool. I think the map's really cool. Let me rephrase that. And it's cool to be able to say, hey, yeah, I took part in a 75-person game, right? That's dope. But I don't want to be one of the top 10 people, or even the top 20 people, right? Managing an empire of 50, 60, 70 provinces spanning half continents and multiple space stations, shenanigans, right? Like, as cool and interesting as that would be, I don't think I honestly have the time for that. So basically, I'm playing my hand early, right? Like, it's this concept of, like, okay, I've had fun with this game. We've done a couple things. Now I'm gonna pick a fight that I'm probably gonna lose. And if we lose, okay, great, then we're out of the game, whatever. if we win, oh shit, what the fuck, right? So it's a win-win for me either way. If I lose, then okay, good. I pick up a new game, move on, right? If I win, then that's just gonna be crazy, and it's probably gonna be some pretty good fights regardless of whether I win or lose. So we're actually gonna work backwards here. We're gonna end on what's going on here. So we are picking up and moving from Zaburia the majority of our forces, along with, and I say majority of our forces, we don't have a lot of forces, but majority of our forces, along with the majority of our Star Priests here. Star Priests, Archimenians, are a very big part of our power right now. We're pulling up, moving over to Jereb, where we are building a fortified village. This group is not going to be sticking around in Jereb. I just think it's a good idea for us to go ahead and be putting roots down in Jereb. I wanted to do that a while ago. What is likely to happen is this group will hit Jereb. Next turn, we will move units from Vongar and the units in Jereb into Anglovania and then into High Peaks as reinforcements. This turn, we are moving in the big army from Smacia, right? The Ind army, right? One of the two Ind armies. We're moving that into High Peaks this turn. We'll have, a pretty big standing army there, over 300 units, fair amount of Katsina warriors, right? A fair amount of Chaco and Star Priests. Should be relatively interesting. Okay? We are leaving the majority of our Star Priests in Bergamum. I say the majority. We're leaving all the Star Priests in Bergamum for now, right? But we are bringing the army, Huya 9's army, down. So all our Ant Warriors, our Great Bears, all these archers, etc. are coming in. So we're bringing them towards the front, right? We are sending our Wuya 9 with the fresh 33 Katsinas that we have. He'll make it there in a couple turns. And we're actually sending a bunch of Hmong Katsinas towards High Peaks. They're not going to make it there this turn, unfortunately. They'll make it to Dardania this turn, and then next turn they'll make it into High Peaks. And they're going there so that they can do things like summon bears, right? A couple of rounds of summoning bears. If things go horribly and we have to start being on the defensive, a couple of rounds of summoning bears, and we've got an army, right? Same reason why Ahayuta is going to Cloud Trapeze over to High Peaks. He'll be able to be there this turn and do things like summon bears or other stuff, right? That's the plan there. And then that's... and then up here, this is kind of related, but not really. We're leaving the majority of our forces up here in Abalak. I don't want to completely abandon our border up here. But we are bringing down the few Katsinas that we have up here back towards Chaco in order to try to, just bolster that stuff. And that's the majority of our movements as far as, like, reinforcing this front. And then we're maintaining the siege. So if Kangobia moves here, he's fighting us. And that's fine. I don't know what to expect. And we're gonna kind of go over some of the things, okay? We're gonna like hit all of the different parts and pieces of what's going on. So, what are we up against if he attacks us? We are up against, take a look, a bunch. We'll go low first. We're not going to talk about each of these because basically we can just talk about the highest version, which I guess is the soldier. And then we can talk about we don't have to talk about the weaker ones because they're incredibly weak. So these guys, right? They're not sacred. hit points or whatever, right? They do hit relatively hard, and they do have a piercing weapon, right? So that's a thing. But they've got low attack skill, right? Relatively unlikely to hit. They've got incredibly low defense skill, which means we are very likely to repel them. Very, very likely to repel them. They have low magic, well, they have baseline, which is low, right? Magic resistance, which means they are likely to get vine shielded. Great, that is fantastic, right? Moving up to the Raiders, these guys are sacred, so let's talk about the Bless real quick. The Bless is Magic Weapon, Shock 5, Defense 1, Reinvigoration 2, Blood Surge 3, Combat Speed 30. The Bless isn't going to matter at all, right? Because they're not going to be... Well, I mean, if they kill someone, then that's the fight anyways, right? So Blood Surge is not going to matter. Defense +1 is a minor bonus. It shouldn't matter that much. And we're not doing anything like Ethereal or Mist Form or anything like that, so the Magic Weapons doesn't matter. So honestly, the vast majority of this Bless is kind of whatever. The Reinvigoration does keep his troops from... I guess from tiring out, but that's not as much of a concern either anyways. So we have the Kengob Riders, which are basically going to be the same as your regular ones, right? The only difference is these guys have higher defense skill, so we're not going to be able to repel them as much. We'll still be able to repel them some, but not as much, and we'll still be able to Vine Shield them. So. And then we have the Drakengard. These guys are terrifying. So we've talked about, like, okay, these guys hit hard, and it's hard enough to annoy us, but with repels and Vine Shields, probably not hard enough to kill us. Maybe. Right? Like, if we have a square around us, you know, a couple of their attacks are going to get through. If we're sitting at, like, 33-ish, you know, armor or protection, then, you know, that, their damage being reduced by Temper Flesh down to, like, 15. I mean, they're going to chip through every once in a while, but more often than not, they're not going to do that much damage, and we're just going to regenerate it, right? These guys are fucking different, right? Like, these guys hit hard. Two-handed weapon, 31 damage, even reduced. This is going to be chunky. It is piercing damage, so it is going to go through a little bit of our armor. That's tough. That's rough. The only downside, or the only, you know, like, saving grace there is that, again, their defense skill is pretty horrible. Unfortunately, on the flip side, like, the Kengobs have bad defense. Well, typically, like, the regular Kengobs have bad defense and meh morale, right? But the Drakengard have bad defense, which means we can trigger a repel, but they have pretty good morale, which means they might succeed. So this is kind of dicey, and they're kind of like on this fence of, like, low enough to get Vine Shielded, but not low enough to always get Vine Shielded. So it's very likely that if I get too many of these Drakenguards around me, we're chopped, we're dead, right? But I think there's the possibility that we can win. So I don't know. But basically, that's the scenario, right? We're gonna risk it. We're gonna see how it goes. We're gonna risk it. The other thing that kind of, like, throws a loop into the situation, I haven't seen any magic from him that I'm like, oh shit, he's got, like, so much, right? But he does have all those spiders, right? And I looked up the spiders. The spiders attack, it only deals 1 damage, right? So in theory, it's never gonna deal enough damage to, like, to actually, it's armor piercing, not armor negating, right? And at 31 or 30 plus protection, surely it's never actually going to damage me, right? Because it has to do at least 1 point of damage to be able to poison. But that poison is like 35 damage, so if that poison hits us, well, they'll fucking kill us real quick. So that kind of scares me, but we're trying to take steps to negate that. So let's talk about what we're actually gonna do. We are only fighting with Wuya 5. That's part of what we're doing. We've got Mong 4 out there, and he doesn't need a blessing times. He's gonna blessing twice and retreat. I had considered doing more than that, but honestly, I looked through all of his shit. The only thing he could try to maybe do is like a Beast-Tide Warriors, right? Maybe he does that. Maybe Beast-Tide Warriors, right? I don't know if Beast-Tide Warriors is going to do anything. I haven't checked that, right? I haven't tested that concept. I don't think it matters. I don't think it's going to stack on top of the Iron Skin. But what we're going to do is we are going to Iron Skin, Summon Earth Power, Strength of Gaia, Temper Armor, and Poison Resistance. I do not think we are going to get through the entirety of the script before his Kangobs get to me. But I think we're going to get through the entirety of the script before we get super, like... So we're going to get surrounded, and we're going to Vine Shield a bunch of people, and you know how it works, right? You've seen this before. A couple of people are going to get Vine Shielded, and then we're going to be like... we're going to go back on script. We're going to be like, oh, hey, we were supposed to cast Temper Armor. Oh, and we can cast now. Temper Armor. Yeah! Right, Poison Resistance. Yeah, and the Poison Resistance is legitimately there to hopefully help negate that 35 damage if it somehow slips through. Right? I have swapped the Precious off of our Mong Katsina, so Wuya 5 has a base +4 attack skill. He's got a base of 23. So with our Bless, he's going to have 27 attack. Which is pretty dope. He should be armor, or he should be fatigue neutral, right? He's gonna have pretty high magic resistance, but this is gonna be kind of like a crapshoot on the scenario because we're not casting Iron Will, right? And I'm not casting Iron Will in favor of basically Poison Resistance or Strength of Gaia, right? Strength of Gaia is here to try to get us increased regeneration so we can try to survive more of the chip damage that I'm relatively sure we're going to take, and to give us +4 strength so that we can kill those Drakengard faster when they get in with us. Like, these guys are chunky, right? And they have very high protection. But if we're hitting for 38 damage, right? Like, adding on another 4. We hit relatively hard. So, like, if that's the case, then hopefully we can, like, really power through, you know? Fingers crossed. And we're having Mong Katsina do the blessing just to take that out of Wuya 5's hand, so they don't have to do it. I don't know. I don't know if we succeed here. I have almost no idea whether or not we succeed. I feel like it's definitely possible, right? Like, we've seen the majority of his army. The majority of his army is the Kangobs and the Raiders, right? Not those Drakengard. I feel like if we get like 4 or 5 Drakengard around us, we're gonna have a turn where it's just like too many of them swing and we go chop 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 and we die, right? But if we get surrounded by a bunch of Kangobs and Draco runners and Kangob raiders and soldiers and hunters, he has hunters there, doesn't he? Let's check the hunters. I don't think the hunters are really any different. He's got a Rakonorang. All right, well, that does pretty low damage, so I'm not really worried about it. But basically, you know, like, the hope is we can get stuck in, like we did with End, like thugs are wont to do, right? Get stuck in, and then eventually we kill so many people that he just fucking routs, you know? Of course, here's the thing. I'm being very coy in my responses to him. I'm not telling him, yeah, we're gonna be at peace. I'm not agreeing to a nap or anything like that. But I've basically been like, well, I guess that means I'm stuck on Gielinor, right? And I don't know if he's going to take that to mean, okay, we're good, and he's going to move on to Pestina, or I don't know if he's going to take that to mean we're not good, and he's going to move on to Pestina anyways. No idea. So we might have a big fight here next turn that we lose. We might have a big fight here next turn that we win. We might not have a big fight here next turn at all. Who the knows at this point, right? Like, oh, I don't even know. This is crazy. So, that's kind of the situation. Along with that, so to kind of reframe that though, but I said we talked about this at the end, right? Is that I might change my mind on all of this and decide to jump back into cautious mode. I'm actually like, I've talked to Foray Flegra, they've declined. I've talked to Erythia, they've declined. I've reached out to, I think Lucid is down here. I think Old Relay, maybe New Relay. I don't know. I'm asking around to a couple of people to see if they are interested, right? In, hey, I think Kangobia could use to be dealt with. Jeez. New Relay. Okay. Yeah, he's New Relay. Fucking New Relay. Alright, anyways. So I don't know. I might get some bites, and that might reassure me and make me feel like, okay, yeah, let's do it. War against Kangobia. Or I might not get any in, and I might be like, I don't want to just be like, hey, kill me, right? But at the same time, I kind of do. I kind of do want to be like, hey, fuck it, let's fight. You know? So, hey, fuck it, let's fight. We'll see how it goes. Fingers crossed. Research-wise, we're not going to finish Thaumaturgy for this turn because we're moving too many people around. That's okay. It happens. We'll finish it the following turn. And then we're basically going to run up probably Thaumaturgy 5 for Soul Slay so that we can use that for communions and things like that. Yeah. Should be a thing. Did I already get Light of the Northern Star? I did. So Light of the Northern Star is pretty important for us to be able to do some things. So what we can do is with like a Chaco and Star Priest, we can do what am I thinking right now? Power of the Spheres. So we can do Power of the Spheres, do a Light of the Northern Star off of the Power of the Spheres, and then everyone else, that one's going to be a +3, but all the other Star Priests are +2s, and then we can just Mind Burn, right? So that everyone can Mind Burn rather than just like, a portion of a Communion Mind Burning. Or we can just do Communion Mind Burns, or we can do Communions into Soul Slays once we get that. So we'll see how it goes. We've got options. All right, a couple of other things that we're doing aside from all focused on this. We're site searching in the Black Alps. We are moving Jade Sork 3 to Chaco so that we can begin to spam out Dark Knowledges. We are making some Boots of the Messenger here in Vongar, and we are making another Dwarven Hammer. Going to continue that whole spiel. We are, recruitment-wise, I think we're just, on the train of fully recruiting as many Katsina warriors as we can every single turn, fully recruiting Jade Maidens every single turn that we can, and then we're recruiting pretty much Chaco and Star Priest basically everywhere that we can, which is almost everywhere. I think we just barely, yeah. So we're doing one Kushari in Bergamum and one Kushari in Wolven Plain, to kind of like deal with the fact that we don't have any Kusharis over here. We've got Kusharis almost everywhere, by the way, now, which is cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, whoa. Here's the other thing. We're attacking Assad this turn. Wasn't I potentially gonna like? Yeah, no, I can't send anyone else in because they'll die to the Spring Hawks. So we talked about this. We've got Wuya 10 over here who has a Frostbrand, a Scutata Volturnus, a Crown of Lead, yada yada yada, right? Turn 1, Iron Will. This actually should probably be slightly adjusted. That's dicey. Okay. Turn 1, Iron Will. to hopefully give us a high enough magic resistance so that we do not get soul slayed or enslaved minded or anything like that. Our shock resistance is 20. We should be just fine against the Spring Hawks. And hopefully we will have a high enough shock resistance that the Umuapkalu and the Anunnaki are going to be like, yeah, it's not a good idea to use like lightning bolts or thunder strikes against him, right? Because sometimes that's what the AI does. The AI will be like, oh, they've got too high shock resistance. Let's not use that, right? So we're hoping to get rid of soul slays and things like that and air things right off the bat, right? Then, and this is the scenario, right? We're going to get Iron Will off, but then by the time we are in cast of Iron Skin, we are going to be getting attacked by the Spring Hawks. Fortunately, though, the Spring Hawks damage is, again, it's lightning, so it should be fully negated, and it should be repellable. It should be, you know, actually, we don't have a repel going on. I forgot about that. Vine shielded, etc., etc., right? We're basically crossing our fingers and hoping that that works. And we're hoping that the Spring Hawks will give us the opportunity to get through the rest of our bless by being ineffectual. And then I think if we can get through the entirety of our bless, we might be able to, again, maybe rout the enemy. I don't think we can kill everyone before the turn timer, unfortunately. But we're, again, this is probably gonna die. We're crapshooting. Because I'm not saying I'm tired of the game, because I'm not tired of the game. But I don't want to get to that point. I don't want to sit for 5, 10, 15 turns and be like, okay, well, we're just gonna move up to construction 6 now and work towards lightless lanterns. Okay, we're at construction 6 now. I guess we'll spend like 10, 15 turns working on lightless lanterns and try to catch our research up with everyone else and just cross our fingers that no one attacks us in the next 20 to 30 turns, and then it's turn. No, hard pass. Nope. Let's. I'm already doing one of those games. Let's Blaze of Glory this one. So that's the only other really cool, interesting thing that I think that we're doing. So yeah, should be fun. And that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.